Okay, so the first slicing dicing video was too long to post anywhere. So we're going to do slicing dicing one more time. We're going to do a smaller version of it, just so everybody gets the gist of what I do when I'm slicing and dicing. First off, we're going to go through the cilantro. We're not going to slice and dice the cilantro yet, or chop it, so to speak. I'm going to state that I only use about 15 sprigs, if I did not state so in the second video of Verde. First video was unpostable, the second video was postable. So I only use probably about 10-15 of these, and I use the stems and everything. Unfortunately, the rest goes to waste unless I find somebody that likes to use a lot of cilantro. Don't know anybody too personally. Okay, onion. Didn't get the opportunity to peel this onion for this video like I did the first one, but I only use about a half an onion in my average Verde recipe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slice this thing probably about a 1/4 inch. Not the sharpest knife in the world, but however it is sharp enough to go ahead and send you to the hospital if things go horribly wrong. That is my luck, but luck be with me today. I was able to make it through one slice of an onion. I'll go ahead and try this one more slice because I want something a little bit fuller. Worked for me, take that as it is. I'll set this aside, cut this up later for my Verde recipe. Move this one aside. Now, slicing and dicing the onions. We have here a slice of onion. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this across the center, just like so. Sink the blade in here, pull it through. Now you have two halves of this onion. The two halves of this onion you are going to dice up, such as this. I'm going to take the blade, start about the center, and you're just going to dice through it. You're going to cut this up into smaller little chunks, just like this. Take it down to the very end here, and that's the last one. Now, as you can see, you will have smaller little pieces of onion here, and they have been diced. This, I found, has been one of the easier ways to dice an onion, by cutting it in half and cutting from the center through. Unless, of course, you have some beautiful little press of some type that just lop it in there and push it through and out it comes. I don't know of such a press. So, till then, I use the knife. Okay, moving on. We're going to go ahead and demonstrate the decoring and slicing and dicing of a pepper. We have an Anaheim pepper that we will be using, but the rule stands the same for pretty much every pepper that is out there. Cut through it. You can, of course, simply cut off the top around there very carefully. I'm not going to. Not lazy, impatient. Now what we have here, so we have the center and the tip. I don't use the tip. Go ahead and suppose I could have cut that one a little shallower, but I didn't. Not lazy, impatient. So I'm going to go through here. I'm going to cut this out just along the rib right here. There are 3 ribs typically on an Anaheim. Sometimes there's more. Very rare there is ever less. We can grab that and we can pull that out. Usually comes right out for us. scatter a few seeds. I'm going to shake them in here. This one had a lot of seeds this time around. Last one didn't have so many seeds, and it came out much cleaner. That's alright. Not one of my preferences to remove the seeds that way. It is something you can do. What I usually do is I will slice along the lower spine. This has to be done anyway for the slicing dicing process of my preference. Be careful about doing this. You don't accidentally run the knife all the way up your arm. Down we go. Okay. Now we open this up, and lo and behold, we have seeds. I don't want the seeds. I don't even want the ribs. I'm going to cut through here and very carefully remove each and every one of these little ribs. Rib over here on this side doesn't seem to be too existent, looks alright. Now we're going to rinse this out, just like this. Make sure all the seeds are out of it. This is already splitting down the side. We're just going to go ahead and continue that split. Now, depending on the size of the slice that you want, or the dice that you want, depends on how many slices you want to create. We are going to put another slice across here. And we're going to take the other one, and we're going to put another slice across it. And with those 4 slices, we will layer them inside of each other. This will keep a nice grouping amongst the slices. See how they're awkward like this? And flip them over then. They gonna be that way? Let them be that way. And now we are ready to dice. You may want your slices smaller. Go ahead and make them smaller. I'm fine with this. Like I said, not the sharpest knife, but sharp enough to send you to the hospital. Well, by all means, you're cutting with a dull knife, make sure your fingers are out of the way. You'll chop one off. And our Anaheim is diced. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on to, let's do the tomato. We're going to do the Anaheim, or the cilantro. Instead, we'll do the tomato. Much as I did on the Anaheim, we're going to go ahead and cut off the tip and the butt section. While I could have cut those things a little bit better and saved more tomato, didn't want to. Not lazy, impatient. So, there's several ways that you can dice the tomato. One way you could do it is similar to the onion, but it'll give you triangular pieces. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to cut this, put a total of 3 slices down it, making 4 sections. We're going to remove the side wall here, turn it, remove the side wall here, and then very carefully, while keeping all of your fingers, cut it down the center there. And we're going to turn it over this way, and we're going to cut it down in the center here. And we're going to go ahead, since it's squared off, we're going to now dice it. The other two pieces we will do something similar to. The two pieces we will grab like so, put them on top of each other. They should be about similar size. We're going to go down the center of these and cut them both in half, and we're going to dice them the same way. And those tomatoes are diced. Now, dicing cilantro. That'll be more of a chop than a dice. I don't mean chop, I mean we're going to bunch this up a little bit and about as even as possible from stem to leaf. That is the beautiful thing about the leaf section. Is this leaf sections will separate themselves during the stirring when you are mixing all the ingredients together. However, if you just have to dice these things even further, go ahead and bunch it all up like this, give it a little bit of a rotation, and just drag the knife back through it. So totally can. But these leaves are brittle. They will separate themselves during the stir. It's really not much you got to worry about. And if you've respectively chopped them in 1/4-inch increments down the stem, they're all separated. You don't have to worry about pulling out some nacho, getting a bite out of a taco, and coming out with a half a plant. And that is cilantro. Cut it widthwise down lengthwise, turn it, and cut it lengthwise down widthwise again. Okay, so adding lime juice. Cut the lime in half, give it a good squeeze. Squeeze it. I do believe this was in the Verde 2 or Verde recipe because we required more juice to mix the garlic powder. In respect to this lime and in knowledge of the lime and having to redo this video, we will be doing key lime pie later also. And very similar to this video, I will not do the entire thing of limes. That is like 30 some limes. I am not squeezing 30 some itty bitty little limes and I'm going to try and post it. That's going to take about an hour. Got most of it kind of hollowed out here. If you want more lime, keep squeezing. You want the pulp, run it through one of those little juice squeezers for orange juice. And that is slicing and dicing.